So Pro Football Focus, sometimes love them, sometimes drive me nuts. They had a top 50 player list last week. It didn't have Aaron Rodgers in it, didn't have Carson Wentz in it. But yesterday they came out and said, okay, here's the 10 guys that almost made it, and here's why they didn't. They didn't even have Carson Wentz in that. So he's not one of their top 60 players. Sometimes I think with Carson Wentz, I'm misspelling his name when I Google him. Like, are people... I always, with quarterbacks, take out the rookie year. Don't count the rookie year. Start with the second year. In the last 3 years, 81 touchdowns, 21 picks. That's a 4-to-1 ratio. 64.5% completion percentage. Passer rating at 98. And in one of those years, he was throwing to deck chairs and lawn furniture. What is... And I said this, I take pride in spotting quarterback talent early. I did it with Russell Wilson 3 and 4 years ago. I said, folks, stop it. It's not the Seahawks defense. It's not Pete Carroll. It's not Marshawn Lynch. Russell Wilson is the secret sauce to this near dynasty. I don't get the Carson Wentz pushback. Well, he's been hurt. He's missed 8 regular season games in 4 seasons. Not that hurt. Is it because he played in a college we didn't watch on TV? Is it because Nick Foles won and we think, well, if Nick Foles could win, anybody could win with your talent? He is the player in the league now. Because I think people have come around. I think they eventually came around on Andrew Luck. I think they've come around on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson now has not just me, but dozens of backers. Wentz is the new Russell Wilson. He's good. Stop it. He's the only guy in this league that you watch Patrick Mahomes and you can see Wentz. Arm, angles, talent, mobility, size, moves. Gets banged up a little bit because they move around a lot. He's it. Nobody else in this league looks like Mahomes. Wentz kind of looks like him. So I think that's where we're at. And I've said this before. I saw ESPN had a thing yesterday where they took this year's draft order and they went 4 rounds. If you could draft any current player in the league, and they had Carson Wentz 11th behind Nick Bosa. So you'd start a franchise with Nick Bosa, Ronnie Stanley, Drew Brees, and Dak before Carson Wentz. I don't even understand it. You'd start it with a defensive end, a 40-year-old quarterback, an offensive tackle, a defensive tackle. I don't understand it. I don't. If you're asking me, I'm not going to do a quarterback list. If you're asking me today, every quarterback on the planet, the 3 I would pick to start my franchise in this order: Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Wentz. You can argue 4 through 20. That's who I'm starting. Those are my guys. Mahomes 1, Russell 2, Wentz 3. Those are my guys. Luck would probably be 3, Andrew, if he didn't, get beat up. So the ESPN thing got a lot of heat. Like, if people said, oh, it's ridiculous, oh, it's terrible. It is what it is. It's a list.
What's up, everybody? Professional Wrestler Chris Wild back with another video. And what an awesome segment by Colin Cowherd. Look, let me get this straight to you guys right now. He's not one of my favorite analysts. I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but he's always had a pretty good read on Carson Wentz, and I agree with his take that Carson Wentz is the new Russell Wilson. Now, before the eyes start to roll and before you guys say, oh, well, there's no way he's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl. We're talking about the take of the rap that Carson Wentz has now compared to what Russell Wilson had earlier on in his career. The disrespect that Carson Wentz gets nationally has always driven me nuts, but it's expected. The disrespect that he gets locally, I don't understand. I've ranted about it in the past. I'm going to rant about it now, and I'll definitely rant about it in the future. Like Cowherd said, look on paper alone. Just look at the stats. The past 3 years, 81 touchdowns to 21 interceptions. He had garbage cans to throw to last year. I mean, it's insane when you really dig deep and look into it. And I know, again, the talking heads are going to look at me and they're going to say, oh, but Chris, hold on, wait. Chris, he's got a lot of fumbles. I mean, he's got so many fumbles. Look, at 81 touchdowns, and again, last year, let's look at 2019 stats if you want to. 4,000 yards without a receiver, over 500 yards receiving. That's the first NFL quarterback to ever do that. And while we're talking about other quarterbacks, just look at how many quarterbacks he had more touchdowns than in 2019 with a horrible wide receiving core. More touchdowns than Brady, more touchdowns than Rodgers, more touchdowns than Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Deshaun Watson, and everybody's favorite guy, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Wentz did that with Deontay Burnett, Rob Davis, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and Greg Ward. I mean, what else do I have to say? But Chris, he gets hurt a lot. He can't last the whole season. Well, I'm glad you said that, because he was the only quarterback in all 16 games last year to throw a touchdown. And if you look at how injured Carson has been, he's only missed 8 total games in his career. That's less than Deshaun Watson at 9 games, Jimmy Garoppolo at 15, and I'm a huge Nick Foles fan. Love the guy. I'll never forget what he did for us. He's a legend in Philadelphia. I can go on and on and on, but he's missed 18 games in his career. Ask the Jacksonville Jaguar fans how they felt about that last year. I mean, I could go on and on with a lot of stats. I'm going to throw up a lot of graphics I probably won't even talk about because there's so many. I just don't understand how you don't look at this guy as one of the top 5 players in the NFL. Got to the playoffs last year with no 1,000-yard rusher, no 1,000-yard receiver. The only quarterback in the playoffs last year to do that. The guy has been absolutely outstanding. We talk about 2017 and how Nick Foles won us that Super Bowl, but when we talk about Carson Wentz, the only thing that the Carson Wentz haters say is, but he got hurt. And "but" is a big word that Carson Wentz haters around here like to use. But he got hurt, but this, but that. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. When you talk about everything that Carson did last year, the fact that he won in overtime, which you said he couldn't do, fourth quarter comebacks, which you said he couldn't do, you get the but he played the Redskins. Hold on. But he played the Redskins, the Giants, and the Cowboys. They were horrible. The NFC East was horrible. Anybody could have done that. Well, anybody could have done that, they say. Anybody could have done that. They're NFL teams, okay, with NFL caliber players. The Cowboys, with all the talent they had, didn't do that. The Giants didn't do that, and the Redskins didn't do that if the NFC East was so horrible. But Carson Wentz did, and again, with a lot of missing pieces. For some of that time, he didn't have valuable pieces to his offensive line like Lane Johnson or Brandon Brooks. Jordan Howard missed most of the year. You have our rookie sensation, Miles Sanders, missed some games at the end, but Carson did it. And I'm telling you right now, you look no further than 2020, he's going to have an outstanding year. I'm calling it right now, and I will not be eating crow. The haters will be eating crow because, look, it's already started. Now, the other teams might be doing this, I don't know, but the Eagles' workouts absolutely excite me. They absolutely excite me. The D-line getting together last week, I talked about that. Well, Carson, a couple days ago, had a bunch of his guys go down to Houston and work out. They're getting these reps in because they can't because of COVID-19 and everything. The Eagles are still putting the work in. Carson Wentz is still putting the work in and getting some chemistry with these new weapons that he has, like Marquise Goodwin, who's down there, like Jalen Reagor, who's got a huge chip on his shoulder that I love, like Kes Watkins. I've already told you in videos before how I think this guy is going to be a gem, and like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who is trying to get rid of that bust label that he's already acquired in just one season. They're down there working out, getting the work in. Guys, I could go on and on about Carson Wentz, and you can call me a Carson Wentz stan, you can call me a Carson Wentz fanboy, all you want. The numbers do not lie. Yes, he fumbles. Yes, he's had some weird injuries in the past, but if you look at this guy as anything less than a top 10 quarterback, I've got him at top 5. I think you're absolutely crazy, and he's going to make you regret what you're saying. But we're all Eagles fans. I love each and every one of you. I love, look, we can debate this, and that's what's great, and that's what makes us Philadelphia fans. But let's get behind this guy in 2020 because we don't know what kind of season that we're going to have. But I love what this guy is doing and the work that he's putting in. And the guy just had a baby too. On top of that, he could be spending this time with his brand new daughter. But he's getting the work in with these new guys, and you have to respect that. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Thanks to all the old subscribers, man. You guys are absolutely awesome. We're hitting this thing hard. We're grinding every day. We're getting ready for the 2020 season, a season that the Philadelphia Eagles are flying under the radar, which I love, and they can surprise everybody, which I think they will. I'll see you guys later, and as always, go Birds.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
I need
Eagle Nation to stand.